Yo, yo, and yo, yo, yo. It is your boys, Slightly Unqualified Podcast, back with another brand new spanking episode. Gentlemen, it's spanking today for one reason only, because I'm hosting my host week. So it's going to be a banger of a week. You know how I do. I'm just good at everything I do usually. So here we go. You two gentlemen, how are we doing today? Let's start with you, Steven.
We are doing great. Got some jujitsu in with the boys. I didn't do jujitsu, just watched. Had anxiety every time I go, but this work week flew by, so that was a plus. I got to play some hit level 200 in Fortnite, so that was stoked. Played some COD. Got to hang out with my wife a little bit. So far this week's going pretty good. What about you, Andrew? What are you up to?
This week's been really good for me too. It's good. The work has just flown by. I can't believe it's almost Friday. Excited for it, but tons of work. Not a whole lot of play this week.
How'd your presentation thing go last week?
Oh, it went good. Yeah, it went very well.
Did you fake it till you make it, or did you get it good?
It went good, other than I was faking that I didn't have a sore throat and cough and holding all that in, but I have since then recovered nicely.
Right.
But no, everything went good with that. It was well received. Pictures, videos, all that fun stuff.
There you
Watched a lot of Rocket League over the weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, how did that go?
It went well. It was very, very competitive weekend. A couple upsets, and we might talk about it a little bit later. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. Well, since you guys asked me how my week was, let me tell you. It went pretty good this week.
I was trying, Andrew. I was trying, dude. But you were picking up on my cue.
Went pretty good this week. As you can see, long overdue for a haircut. My hair is getting out of control here. The week's been cool. I mean, nothing special. I'm having this situation right now where my weeks are like not as busy now, so I'm liking it a lot personally. Been playing Call of Duty, grinding out the ranked, everything like that. Last night got absolutely hammered because my teammates were terrible. But beside the point. And I also watched Creed 3 yesterday, which was a very good movie. Yet another great Jonathan Majors performance.
Yeah.
As he's done the last year and a half. He's going on a historic acting run right now. It's kind of crazy. But good movie. Michael B. Jordan directed it, and it was filmed beautifully. The like cinematography and photography behind it was immense and beautiful. The anime scenes that they talked about bringing in were like the fight scenes. There was only like 20 minutes of fighting in the whole movie, which is not a lot in a boxing movie. But I'll be damned if that's the best 20 minutes of boxing I've ever seen in my life. It's damn good filming. So that's what I did. Since you gentlemen were so kind to ask. Yeah. So let's just get straight into it. We can start anywhere. I think I'm going to start with the entertainment stuff because that's the easy stuff you got out of the way.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, that's the easiest thing to talk about. So let's talk about something we talked about a couple weeks ago, Mando. So I think you guys have all seen at least episode 1 for sure now. If not episode 2. Both great episodes. Thoughts on Mandalorian now that you guys have seen it as well? I'll start with Andrew.
I didn't think the first episode was that great. Like, it was good to be watching it again, but I feel like from opening to close, nothing really happened of that much significance to move the plot in. And I think Disney / Lucasfilm did it for a specific reason. And I think it's because they kind of have to compete with each other with the Bad Batch. Got a really good episode on the Bad Batch. And then I'm assuming that this episode 2, I haven't seen it yet, is very good in Mandalorian, because the episode in Bad Batch, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't as good as the one before. So I think they have to be strategic, which a couple weeks ago we talked about kind of their timing on releasing, whether it's content, video game. It just makes me kind of even more deeper into that conspiracy theory that Disney is moving things around or changing dates for a specific reason.
Steven, thoughts?
Yeah, I loved it, dude. I thought it was a very good catch-up episode. I don't think it was groundbreaking. I don't think if people were watching it for the first time, it was going to hook them. but I do like the refresher episode. They made me get like, okay, Mando's back, Grogu's back, let's go. But I don't know if you guys felt this way either, or felt this way. But I felt a little bit of emotion, like being torn, like with Mando, because he has now friends and he does have people around him.
Mm-hmm.
Where I felt when he was being told to stay, he was like, I have a mission I need to go do, but I could see how it's starting to appeal, maybe. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where he doesn't have to go to be a Mandalorian, where he doesn't have to do it. I know he does it because he feels like that's what he needs to do, but I felt like the episode was feeding me like emotion. I don't know if you guys got the same kind of emotion out of it, but that's what I felt from it, and I think that's what got me more excited for the episode than anything that even happened in the episode. But the episode was fire. The ships fighting the pirate, or the ship fighting the pirates, him just dipping out. I thought that was so cool.
Mhm.
But I liked the episode. It was good.
Yeah. So the emotion part, I could see that. It feels like every season so far has had kind of like an overlying theme. Like I feel like season 1, the overlying theme was trust, because he had to build this relationship, and he had this background where he's afraid of droids, and that is kind of established throughout the whole season that he doesn't trust droids. He doesn't really trust anybody. And then season 2, I feel like, is about breaking the norms of the Mandalorian. Like a lot of it was, is Din gonna break the norms to take care of Grogu? And then obviously it leads to that awesome scene at the end of season 2 where he takes off his helmet to show like how much he cares for this, which I think was done perfectly. So I'll be curious to see if this season is going to be around like the establishment of, am I going to continue to do my bounty hunting, or am I going to rise to a higher status and lead the Mandalorians? Because I could see them going that direction.
It's almost as if I said that 2 weeks ago, and you all called me crazy for saying he might take the mantle of being the leader. I digress, though. So the first episode for me was just a lot of foundational work. My only problem with it is two things. One, I just love Mandalorian. So like, if he's on the screen, I'm okay with whatever it is that happens. Mm-hmm. So I had my little love blinders on for Mandalorian every time I watch it. Okay, looking back at it, it did seem like we opened up the season with a filler episode, right, which is extremely weird.
Yeah,
but it was cool. Like the stuff that happened was cool. Them two having like that good old Western standoff with that gang, and then just mopping them easily was incredible.
What did you guys? Go ahead, finish.
The necessity of like him going to the planet to get the droid is, as you'll see in the next episode, like it's necessary. So it wasn't like he was just roaming places. He went toward the purpose, and the purpose had a reason for it in the second episode. And then also him visiting Bo-Katan obviously comes back full circle, literally full circle in the next episode. So those things set down foundational work. I did feel like could kind of knock out that entire episode. The necessary parts in that episode is 5 minutes long on a 30-minute episode. Mm-hmm. And we could have had those 5 minutes put onto this next episode and had a good hour-long show instead of a 44-minute show.
Definitely.
So I agree with you there on that part.
Yeah, which is surprising because like even season 2's premiere, it was almost too long in my opinion. Like there was a lot crammed into it, but it was cool. And obviously the final scene with the crate dragon was awesome. But this one, I almost feel like it was just like, get it out there. Like, almost rushed in a sense to where it's like, there's got to be a little bit more that they could have done. But go ahead.
Oh, go for it. I was cutting you off. My bad.
I was going to say, what were your guys' thoughts on the pirate guy that was, in my opinion, a little bit of a ripoff from Pirates of the Caribbean, Davy Jones?
Davy Jones?
Yeah. Space Davy Jones.
It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, I had no problem with the space pirates thing because I think that's kind of like relevancy in like the Star Wars world. And I also think that they're trying to show that chaos is being like the criminal element is going away, like it's order, because he's a cowboy Western Star Wars show where he's like the big gun. So people are kind of like clean up your act kind of thing. So I thought that was kind of cool. The thing I feel like they dropped the ball with was the scene where the youngling was getting his helmet or getting situated.
The very first, the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, the very
opening
I feel
scene.
like the opening scene I thought was so cool. I just feel like they kind of dropped the ball just a little bit on that. I feel like maybe that scene could have been towards the middle, you know what I mean, of the show. I just feel because people want to know.
Yeah, why?
I feel like the pacing to me was a little weird. Like I understand that he had to talk to her to do his thing, but it was just it looked so cool, and then it was just like serious scene right after it. I just felt like it was just off a little. Like
I think it and this is gonna go back to what I think is gonna happen in this season. I think it foreshadows what's gonna happen. The very first scene we see is him saving Mandalorian people from danger. The very last scene we're gonna see, and what I think we're gonna happen in this whole story arc is gonna be he's gonna save the planet of Mandalore and restore his people. So I think it's a foreshadow of what's to come, which is very cinematic. I was confused. I thought it was him at first in the first episode.
Yeah, like it could have been a flashback.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with that. I think it could be a very subtle foreshadow as well.
Yeah, the way you say it, I could kind of see that too. I kind of
where it's like we're gonna open it. Well, one of the interesting things, and I don't know if this is like a me being nitpicky, but I feel like the color palette that they've gone is so childish. Like I get Star Wars is about like selling as many toys as possible.
Yeah, but it's like, come on,
man, those are like blatantly, obviously kids' colors. We want to sell it.
Yeah,
it was almost comical when I saw that first helmet. Like, yeah, that's gonna be a helmet that someone's gonna buy at a Target.
Yeah, like Christmas is right around the corner. Let's get these boys. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So let's kind of get into the weeds of why I think these things are happening, and it kind of goes back. It kind of goes hand in hand with the next topic I'm going to talk about as well. So, Jon Favreau this week, he didn't say anything, but it came out that he had threatened to leave Lucasfilms and the Star Wars projects altogether because Kathleen Kennedy kept sticking her nose in his business. So two things. One of the big things that made Favreau like, okay, hold up, I'm either gone or this doesn't happen again, was she was insistent. So two things. One, she was very much involved in the Book of Boba Fett, and we can clearly tell that's an awful Star Wars project, as Kathleen Kennedy continues to produce. But she also pushed very hard and got her way with Feige and with Lucasfilms to introduce Grogu back with Din Djarin before Mando season 3, which to me is the reason why we got so much filler in this first episode. It sounded like Favreau had a plan to reunite them, and then Kathleen Kennedy said, whoa, put them back together before that.
Yeah.
And then she got her way. At that point, Favreau goes, all right, I'm out, because if she's going to do this, me and Filoni need full creator freedom. We have produced great projects. We don't really need her guidance anymore. No offense to Kathleen Kennedy. And then the second part of it is she's very much this push merch person, right? Like, every creation she's made, it was just for the intention of selling something and not for like an original, actual creative story idea. And that shows, like you said, in the color palette stuff. So I think Kathleen Kennedy has her hands in this a little bit, at least this first episode. Second episode, by the way, Andrew, when you watch it, way different tone, way much more like a Mandalorian pace than you're used to. But it seems like Kathleen Kennedy was like, let me get my hands on this. And then Favreau said, this is not going to happen ever again, or I'm out. And then Kevin Feige said, back up, Kathleen Kennedy, let Favreau take over. So thoughts on those things?
I would just love to know, like, how does she have all this power still after just flop after flop after flop? Like, I don't get it. Like,
I think she's riding the coattails of her classic movies that she's been a part of, because she does have some banger movies, but in the recent year, she has a lot of flops and a lot of softball throws, and she just whiffing so much. I'm looking at it. And the last great movie she made, I would say, in my opinion, is that she was part of was Rogue One. If you go back, it's like flop after flop.
Do you
Han
feel
Solo,
like is it? She's got to be self-aware of like those kind of things, right? Or
we're not liking her
of that, but also just that the fan base doesn't like the direction that she's tried to take it, or she's either got to be aware of that and not care, or just be like completely out of the loop and just unaware that it's not the right direction. And a lot of people feel like it's not George's Star Wars anymore.
Yeah. So I think when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy, she has more misses than hits in the Star Wars world specifically. I think what Marvel, Lucasfilms is banking on really is Sony had a similar person in Amy Pascal who wasn't very good at these Spider-Man stories. She did awful in terms of like the actual story and like world building of the Amazing Spider-Man stuff. And then she sat there and wasted his character for 10 years. But then we have Tom Holland Spider-Man, who, albeit with the MCU's help, she has done amazing with. So I think they're maybe banking on or seeing that happen and seeing, hey, if we get Kathleen Kennedy the help she can that she needs, like we did with Amy Pascal and Sony, maybe this project goes from being this where it is now to this great fleshed out Star Wars story like we do for Spider-Man. So I think Disney just sees that and then thinks it might be a good way to go with Feige's help. I do think the importance though is whatever you do not lose Jon Favreau for the life of you. And if Favreau is starting to leave, you either pull her off the project immediately, or if it's a he versus her situation, which it might come down to eventually, the obvious choice here is Filoni and Jon Favreau. Because if Favreau walks, I think Filoni walks too, to be honest with you.
100%.
I don't know. I feel like that's a man whose life has been Star Wars and who was hand trained by George. I think it would be a devastating blow to lose Favreau, but I think Filoni is going to stick it around because it feels like if a Kathleen Kennedy steps down or decides to retire, he's got to be that next person in line to run Lucasfilm. Like
I think so too.
And I think there would be an overwhelming positive response from the community because he understands George as Lucas probably better than anybody than George.
Yeah.
So I'm looking her up right now, and I don't, to be honest with you, I don't understand why she's being, I don't know. I see. I think she has way more misses than she does hits. I'm looking at it right now that she's been president. She's Catherine has been president of Lucasfilms since 2012, when George Lucas sold the company to Disney for $4.5 billion. Would you say from 2012 to now has Star Wars been better or gotten better, or do you say that it's gotten more inconsistent? What would you say?
Here's the hard part. I think you have to look beyond just 2012 because her name as an executive producer is all over the place. Like you'd be surprised, like
the Goonies,
what she shows up in. Yeah. And I think she has such an established, basically career page, and track record that it didn't really matter. Because you have the Indiana Joneses, you have the original Star Wars,
Jurassic
ETs,
Park.
Literally, if you're looking at it from beyond 2012, her rap sheet is awesome, but at the same time, she wasn't in full control at that point, like a president of a studio like she is now, and I think that role's slightly different. Not to mention, and I don't want to get too like political, but obviously times have changed too, to where there wants to be more of an understanding of different cultures, different beliefs, different views, which that's awesome. I'm all for that. But at the same time, you can tell when it's more forced than naturally done.
Yeah.
I
think for me, the question of has Star Wars gotten bad or inconsistent, I am not.
It's hard.
Okay. For me, it's not hard because for me, this has always been Star Wars. I think every trilogy we've ever had has had one awful film, one mediocre film, one really good film. That includes the Kathleen Kennedy produced films. Awful film, Last Jedi. Mediocre film, Rise of Skywalker. Really good film, Force Awakens. I I just think that like it kind of fits the formula of what we've seen for Star Wars in the first place. If you look at the TV shows, I mean, she only has 3 under her belt for Star Wars, right? Mando, which we know is damn good. Granted, we know she doesn't really have her hands on that at all. Obi-Wan, which was not terrible, again mediocre.
Yeah.
And the Book of Boba Fett, which is really bad.
Awful.
So she's kind of just fitting the mold of what every other person before her in Lucasfilm has already done.
For sure.
Good, mediocre, bad. Good, mediocre, bad.
Yeah. I think if you're looking at it from a live action perspective, that's really good too. But also the stuff that we've gotten that's been animated, whether that's season 8 of Clone Wars,
Rebels
was really
Rebels
good.
was amazing.
Yeah, the Tales of the Jedi was like probably
really
one
good.
of the best animated series I've seen.
Yeah.
So it's hard. I say it's hard, and it's kind of like a teeter-totter because there's been so many not so good stuff. But in like the grand scheme of things, there's also been like some really big highs for Star Wars too.
Yeah. I could see that. I definitely give her grace in the situation because she has given us, I don't want to bash her, but she has given us a lot of Star Wars content. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And period. And back then it used to be like you would have to go to the bookstore and read an old school book that told you stories. You know what I mean? And
that George didn't write, that he sold to someone else to do what they want.
Yeah.
But I think he usually gave his blessing before it was published.
He did have to get
he
blessed
sold it
before.
That's his blessing. Here,
no, it had to.
I think it had to have his approval though too.
Yeah, and it had to be relevant in the story's timeline. It couldn't be that like just some craziness.
No,
yeah,
irrelevant to the characters maybe. In the timeline, hell no. Those books were all over the place.
Yeah, I don't think timeline matters so much. I think yeah.
To the core Skywalkers, I agree with you. They had to be attached to them somehow. But the timeline was non-existent in the Lucasfilm's books era.
But I don't like in the Star Wars world now. I am upset with Disney that they took out all that lore. I don't like it personally, but I am happy that Disney and Lucasfilms or whatever they're calling it. I am excited that they are putting out more content. Because if you're going to take history from us in Star Wars, I'm glad you're giving us something that that I can get excited about. So I give her grace. Let's see what they do with it. Since the TV shows are now popping off and Ahsoka's coming out, I give her grace on the season. But after the season, if she kills it, I'm gotta let her go. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Mando's your one.
To Disney's defense of killing the lore, it's difficult when there's no established. If George said here's the established lore books that are our books, that is the core Star Wars canonical stuff, that'd be one thing. But George, and this goes with my core point of all of this, is to say George didn't care about Star Wars as much as everyone thinks they do, because George was the first person to say, "Oh, blockbuster films did good. I have 3 films now. I can probably make 3 more based off of my previous experience. But beyond that, I don't really care what happens. Let me sell books here. Let me sell publishing rights there. Let me sell them to everybody who wants them because I can just be a cash cow now at this point." And that George didn't care about the story like people think he did. Now, maybe George had a vision for like the core Skywalker family. I'll give him that because it was clearly laid out perfectly in the first 3 and then the prequels. So I'll give him credit to that extent. But everything beyond that, all the gaps in between the timelines from like the first 3 to the second 3 or vice versa or whatever, pockets of time in between those episodes, George didn't think of nothing. He let them people just write what he wants. And then when it came down to the core foundation of the books, Disney had no choice but to say none of this matters because they can't all matter, number one. And number two, who are we to pick and choose what matters when these stories are good stories? So let's make them a different thing called Legends, which is just stories based on Star Wars. And it's write our own canon because clearly George has these 6 films that are canon. Everything else is up to us now to make free range, which is 1, a big creative freedom, and 2, it's just less of a headache from the have to reorganize everything that other publishers made who had nothing to do with George or Disney themselves.
Yeah,
I would have to disagree on that, but I get what you're saying though.
Yeah, I think the Legends thing, that's kind of like a tricky topic because there's probably a lot smaller fan base that is truly well versed in Legends.
True as well.
Yeah,
but I think they have seen that those are the fans that are really like the die hard ones.
Yeah.
But I think they're starting to pull a lot more elements out of the expanded universe or the Legends universe.
Definitely with
which
Darth
is which is
Maul.
good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even did you guys watch any of the Bad Batch episodes?
Nope. I haven't watched any of the new ones yet. Right. Nothing yet. I'm waiting for it to finish. Cause...
There's a specific place, not to get into any spoilers, but there's a specific place that they show that's like a very big, like one of the most relevant legend stories. Is pretty prominent, and it seems like there's an arc that's going there that potentially could even lead into some kind of conflict with the Mandalorian and potentially a new big bad kind of thing.
Yep.
But
well, there's lots to debate with Star Wars, especially like if you're like if
always will be.
Yeah, I'm of the mindset that Star Wars is like it's I love Star Wars for what it is. I take it for what it is, face value. I know Steven's very much the opposite. He has high standards for Star Wars, and if they don't hit those, he kills it. I know Andrew's a little bit in between where he could take some, leave some. So we can go on for hours about this. We're just keep pushing for that topic. So we've been told, us three gentlemen, quite rudely, no, I'm just kidding, very graciously, that we talk a lot about the MCU and TV and stuff. So we're gonna
talk about it.
We're gonna stick.
I thought he was gonna go there.
We're gonna stick on a brief 5 minutes, 5 minutes only. Okay.
Oh man.
I'm gonna let Andrew get his point across for the Punisher possibly coming back. I've heard nothing of it. Andrew, take the reins, and I'll react to it.
So there's been a couple of Twitter pictures floating around that the Punisher from the Netflix series is going to be making his appearance. He posted on his Twitter, which is pretty much either a big troll, which I doubt would be the case, or it's almost like a confirmation that he's going to be in the Born Again series. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're not going to do a recasting. To be honest, I'm a little bit indifferent on this. Like, I loved him as the Punisher, but I think there's other roles that he could have taken up in the MCU that would be really good. I think he could have been a really good Wolverine, like a true to the comics short Wolverine. Yeah. Just the way like he even yells, and like his
well, I can see,
I don't think it would ever happen, and especially if this tweet is anything to show what's happening. It would be something that I'd be like, oh yeah, he's meant for that. But him as the Punisher, I'm all on board. I'm actually pretty surprised because I thought he gave an interview a couple of years ago saying that he like had put that behind him and he's done, and that chapter's closed in his life. But
money talks.
Money talks, yeah.
Steven, you're muted.
He did a podcast with Joe Rogan a couple weeks ago or months ago, and he talked about like Joe was like, "Yo, you as the Punisher is like, it's almost as perfect as Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. being Tony Stark. Like it just fits so good." And he got a lot of fans were like, "Dude, you're the Punisher." You know what I mean? Like you are him, and I think that really got him hyped to be like, you know what, I can still do this as long as it's not like I'm doing TV show after TV show after TV show, like throwing him in. I think it sounded like he was into it. So I'm not surprised that this happened.
Yeah, I think for him too, as an actor, it's got to be like the crew around him. He has to have that synergy because I've seen a bunch of interviews where he's talked about the original Walking Dead seasons and how that was just like this tight family, and how he's almost craved having that. And I would imagine that he's had that. I'm drawing a blank on his name, Charlie
Cox.
Yeah, I'd imagine that him and Charlie Cox must have some kind of rapport to.
Oh yeah.
That even if Charlie gave him a call and was like, "Hey man, this is." Trust me, you might not have seen a script, but you'd want to be a part of this. And he'd probably be like, okay.
It's Daredevil Reborn, right? I think that's what it's called. The show. The show. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it helps too that it's the first one to go 30 episodes, number ones, out of that 6-8 episode format. And they're gonna be like a long form standing TV show rather than like a quick series or whatever. I think Brent has a lot of affinity for that. I also think it has to do with two things. Or two people, I should say, Oscar Isaac and Jonathan Majors. I think he's seen these newer, modern top of their game at the peak of their career actors getting into the game when they do, instead of, because a lot of the people that are in the MCU, in the Downey Jr. area and Chris Evans area, were not the top of their career. It's just post, and they got a revival from their career for this. But I think he sees these two actors that are at the peak of their career, quite literally. Oscar Isaac and Majors could not get any higher than they are currently, outside of doing MCU films to get more notoriety. And I think he sees that and says, you know what? This is actually cinema now. Richard Madden's here. Marshall Ali's coming. So like, these are cinematic events now instead of just comic book films. Right. And to Bernthal, I think it appeals to him a lot in that sense, which is why I think he did the original Punishers, because he felt it was a more cinematic experience than an actual comic book show. So I think he just hopped on board because he saw those two guys do it, and because he's born to play that role, man. I think he is. He does so good. He's a perfect Frank Castle.
Blood. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. So we'll keep pushing. 5 minutes. That's actually 4 minutes.
That was
so
good.
Good job, guys.
Let's go.
So that's our only MCU topic of the day, folks. So if you're here for that, continue for longer things that we're not qualified on. If you aren't here for that, praise Jesus is only 4 minutes, an hour and a half episode. So let's get to the gaming section of the episode, and it'll kind of be twofold or threefold. We'll start in the DC section of things, which is Suicide Squad. So the trailer comes out, the gameplay trailer comes out. They see these people just shooting purple things, right? If and you guys haven't seen it, I don't think, but if you watch the gameplay trailer, they're just shooting purple objects. Everything that they have to shoot is like purple, or hit is purple, and it's like, what is this? It looks like a really cheap knockoff of Sunset Overdrive. Remember that game back in the day? And that game was really good. Cheap knockoff of that game where you just shoot purple things. So as a result, they have delayed the game. It got a lot of negative reviews. One, are you two gentlemen even aware this game exists? Two, were you excited for it at all? Three, what does it say about them delaying the game because of fan critiques?
Yeah, I'll go first. First, I didn't know it was a game. Secondly, I wouldn't say I'm excited about it. I think video games that have multiple characters and are centered around multiple people, it's hard to pull off. I can really only think of like a couple games that ever really do it good, and it's hard. The Guardians of the Galaxy game wasn't anything special, and I feel like it's trying to, I don't want to sound like I'm repeating myself from last week either, it's trying to kind of feel that same kind of success. Like, oh, we had a Suicide Squad movie that did good. The Peacemaker show's gotten some really good reviews and a fan base. Now let's throw a video game and see if it sticks. But again, the story's got to be there. But how do you incorporate someone who's controlling these characters? Or I would be very skeptical because I just haven't seen that work.
Yeah, real quick to kind of just give you a brief of what the story is. Surprise, surprise! It's them killing the Justice League. So like that's it. Again, continue.
What was the third part? Am I excited?
What does this say for the game that they're delaying it based off of just basically fan complaints that they saw in a gameplay trailer?
Yeah, I mean, it could show a couple things. It could show that like, hey, this is, maybe we need to take it to the drawing board and, start doing some things differently. It could. Is this a game that is supposed to be incorporated into the gun universe?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Yeah, it's
I just a game they're trying to throw out there, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's surprising.
Like Gotham Knights, yeah, it's cool, but did anybody ask, or is this even relevant to anything going on right now? Not really.
Right. It's like any of the G.I. Joe movies that we keep getting sequels for. Who is wanting those?
Yeah.
Surprising. When you told me, I was like, "What?"
Yeah, I would think
this year, I think, but
so I think you'd be very surprised on how much content and how many games or movies come out that no one's really asking for. But there's people who eat this stuff up. There's people who
it's weird.
It is weird. Like like Arkham Knight or Gotham. I'm a huge Batman fan. As soon as I saw it get revealed, I was like super stoked, and then I started watching the trailer, and I was like,
Yep, same thing for me, man.
What I want to love this. I do.
That could have been a good game too.
A classic game. I will buy it when it's $20 and it's $39 now. I'm waiting for it to drop to $20. I'll buy it at 20, maybe 25. But Suicide Squad, they're really banking on this like terrible fandom Harley Quinn,
Like cult following,
hot topic feel thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like all of a sudden Harley Quinn comes out and everybody, Harley Quinn's my favorite superhero, and you're like, yeah, I get it.
The Brooklyn accent.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like to the point where I'm watching gameplay and Harley Quinn is jumping and flying in the air.
Yeah,
like she has a grapple gun in this. She's doing the infamous. Remember the game for PlayStation where he could just like zap and he was like lightning or whatever. I think it was called Infamous, right? She can do that, and like that's the kind of stuff that's like I get it. It's a video game, comic book game, but it's like there's a time and a place, and they did not hit the right time or the place. Like you know, I mean, you know what I mean? Like this looks like somebody was like, "Yo, I have half of a game built. You have half a game built. Let's merge them together, and like hopefully something happens." Looks terrible to me.
Is it like a button mashing fight? Like
no, it's actually
it's like I told you, like Sunset Overdrive, exactly like
it is a very fast paced game, and Harley Quinn looks like she could easily beat Thanos in a fight. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand.
No, I mean she's got to be pretty tough if they're going against the Justice League.
Yeah,
supposedly win.
Yeah,
100%. And I don't.
And how unoriginal, right? Like, come on, I don't need to see them killing. Make something better than this.
Right.
Heck, give me an exact replication of what I saw in James Gunn's Suicide Squad, and I'd be happy.
Right. I think it'd be cool if they had gone with like
I'm going to show you
Court of Owls kind of thing.
Yeah, that would have been fire.
Like, that is something about DC that just needs to be like brought to the surface. Like that is
Court
a
Owls,
cool.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a split second. I know we're doing a podcast, so we're just going to keep talking through this. This is what the game looks like. I think the mechanic wise, it's cool. I just don't understand why Justice League is in the game or Suicide Squad. You could have done a whole new original, and I think this game would have been fire. But
so is this going to be like a AAA title? I mean, you almost get like a. Why didn't they sell this to like Fortnite and let Fortnite just
like a mini game?
Yeah, dude, and just save yourself a headache. Like Street Sharks is in this. That guy's flying. You know what I mean? Like
there is a lot of purple though.
I told you, man. Purple. You're shooting purple things.
Yeah,
they should have called it purple shooter.
Halo.
Look at
purple. Purple.
Am I wrong?
Purple.
Look underneath
purple.
it. Yep.
So
you just shoot a purple ball the whole time.
Yeah. So
there's a lot of purple.
It is a lot of purple.
I wasn't lying.
And I like purple.
I like purple too, but like, come on, man.
No.
You know what I mean?
I
like just make a Street Shark game with the shark. I would have bought it if it was just Street Sharks and we did this. You know what I mean? No Superman. We just fought the bad guys. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
But,
so piggybacking off of the Fortnite thing, / characters, this is gonna be a two-folder.
Banger.
Fortnite has it's been rumored, I should say, it hasn't been confirmed by Epic Games or anything like that, or even Paramount. But it's been rumored that there is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle skin coming for the new movie coming out. One, have you gentlemen seen the trailer? Two, what do you think of the trailer if you've seen it? Because it is very different than most TMNTs we've seen before. And three, how about Fortnite buying all the IP again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go. Andrew, do you play Fortnite?
Not often.
So I play Fortnite here the most out of everybody. Matt doesn't play. Andrew barely plays. I play a lot. A couple months back, Fortnite got in contract with Paramount already. They did like a contract already. They just haven't released any of their stuff yet. They kind of do it in waves. Next wave coming out is going to be Star Wars because out of Mandalorian, there's just
Mhm.
going to be some Star Wars stuff coming in. They just did Creed, so Creed's in it right now. I think that's pretty dope.
Wasn't
I
there
like,
wasn't there a Master Chief Halo
yeah. So if
thing
you did,
too?
if you could have bought Master Chief, and if you had an Xbox, the Xbox Series X and logged in, you got a black Master Chief. So his armor was all black. It was pretty fire.
Okay.
It's kind of cool. I like that they did that. And I do love Fortnite's content. As much as I cry about PlayStation getting stuff and we don't get stuff, Fortnite is the king of that. No, PlayStation got some skins. We got some skins. I do say PlayStation gets robbed. The skins they get for exclusive Fortnite PlayStation skins are trash. Xbox, we rake them over the coals. It's not even fair. The Ninja Turtles, though, I am a huge Ninja Turtles fan. I love the Ninja Turtles. I love this trailer. I like that it's a different look. It looks like the turtles are younger.
Actually,
it shows
teens
that they're
for
young.
once.
Yeah, actually teens, not like grown bodybuilders.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? I'm not a huge fan of Seth Rogen. I know he's like the exclusive producer on this or something. So I don't want there to be any. I want it to be Ninja Turtles. I want it to be what it is. I don't want it to get any kind of political look into this. I really just want them to keep it Turtles. But everything I've seen in the trailer, and I think I've seen about 3 or 4 times, it looks fire. I am definitely going to spend money on this. I'm going to support it as much as I can. Just like Star Wars content, anytime there's content out there coming out from the Turtles, I'm in. I'm trying to spend money. I'm trying to support. So I'm stoked.
Yeah, I think the cool thing that movie studios, hopefully executives are learning, is that there's nothing wrong with following a either comic book styled animation,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not really like a negative nerd thing like it used to be.
Can thank Sony for that.
Yeah, but that's just becoming like a new pop culture of you like comic books, like that's cool. And so I think they're starting to see that, and I really like this art direction that they're going to.
Yes, I was a big fan.
It seems a little bit brighter than normal, which is really cool too. But also their faces, like the animation of their faces and like the expression, that's a better way of saying it, their expression seems more lifelike than trying to go for something that's dark and gritty. It's kind of fun to see that like almost comic book-esque face expression.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep. Yet another son to the father that is Into the Spider-Verse. Looks really good. It clearly takes, as most have that are good over the last few years, elements from Into the Spider-Verse and implements them pretty well to their story. It looks good. I am ecstatic about them like being like kids,
right?
Like not like grown men fresh out of not even out of college. They were like in their 30s, these dudes. And I'm glad they're still teenagers. My one caveat is Donatello sounds a little too young. He sounds like a baby. But if they put him as freshman in high school, that voice would pass perfectly fine as a freshman in high school. But it gives them room to grow. Number one. Number two, gives them longevity of actual like kid funness. I think it could easily morph into what the MCU has, where we start out the first 5 to 10 years as children, and then as the kids grow up, they grow up, kind of a thing. And
yeah, imagine like, again, with it being animated, you have the ability to change art styles. So let's say it's like a kid-friendly art style. As those kids start to grow, it starts to turn into a darker, more mature audience base. But you can go back and watch it happen over time. Like that's such a cool concept to even potentially think about, that as you grow as a person watching this content, the content grows with you.
It's like what Last Airbender did.
Yeah. Even like Harry Potter, we got to see them grow up. You know what I mean? I think that's fire.
Yeah, Harry Potter nailed it.
Yeah,
my love for Harry Potter.
Clear distinction from the first one to the last. That's true.
Wait, what?
He's just hating on the first couple of movies.
First 4,
Banger.
half the film,
First 3,
half the franchise, literally.
First 3.
All right, what were you gonna say, Mr. Steven?
No, I was gonna say something about the Harry Potter thing. I heard that the play, what's the
Cursed
play?
Child.
Yeah, is going into production or getting drawn up or something.
Andrew hates it. His blood's boiling. Look at him.
No, I don't hate it.
See him.
Yeah, what do you feel about that? I know we're segueing, but give me your thoughts on that.
It's I get the idea of it, that they've struggled with creating a consistent story with the Fantastic Beasts and the.
Excuse you.
I mean, I like Fantastic. Listen, I'm not gonna, if there's a Harry Potter movie I'm gonna watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
But most people are gonna say that they don't really like the Fantastic Beasts series, and that it's weird, and there's things that aren't fitting the continuity. But
like Dumbledore being a young suave-looking man.
Yeah. I don't even have
that. Became a Jedi Knight all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Wearing robes.
That doesn't even really bother me too. Like, that could have been an easy fix where, if we ever do, which we're probably not going to see, but a final duel between him and Grindelwald, like, I would imagine having to fight somebody to the death that you actually care about would probably take a toll. That would probably age you pretty quickly. Like, they could have done something like that to be like, here's why he aged so quickly. Like, he literally is killing a part of himself that he loves.
Taxes.
Yeah. But anyways, I digress.
Yeah, for sure. So
the Cursed Child, I think it's a bold move, because there's a lot of people that don't like it.
Hate it.
There's a lot of people that really do like it. But once you start getting into the time travel portion, like, are you guys familiar with either of the story at all?
I am. I've read the book. I've read it.
Yeah, it's a screenplay. It's not a book. Just kidding.
Did you read it in a book? Because I read it in a book.
Yeah, I read the screenplay from a book.
Exactly.
So
I hate it. Now that I love it even more now the fact you said that.
Yeah.
I go.
So I think that anytime you introduce like time travel into a franchise like that, it's hard. And
I hate it.
They explained that there are so many rules in The Prisoner of Azkaban that this is going to be like, well, if this happens, and again, I can throw out spoilers because it's been almost 10 years that book's been out.
Yeah, a little more than 10.
But it's bold. It's bold. It's like, and the other thing too is, do you get the original cast? Do you recast? Like, that's a hard thing to do.
They're old enough to be the original cast, though.
I know
I could see that.
They want to.
I think after the reunion, it seemed like they were all giddy about it. So I mean, I don't see why not. I don't see anything that what's her name? Emma. What's her name?
Emma Watson.
I don't see anything she's doing recently, or Daniel Radcliffe. They're not busy. All right. All
Daniel Radcliffe's been in a bunch.
No, Andrew.
Ron so is
Shia LaBeouf. Okay, that doesn't mean you know them or seen them.
Are you talking about Daniel Radcliffe? Just did that Weird Al movie that just came out if not a month ago.
He's been doing a lot of.
I haven't seen it, but I know it came out.
Either has 80% of America. My point is that Daniel Radcliffe is not busy. Shia LaBeouf also has movies coming out. Doesn't mean he's busy with stuff. It just means he's Shia LaBeouf doing movies. It's the same thing. Okay. This is going to be a grade A blockbuster if it comes out, whether it's good or bad or not. That's the first thing. Second thing is, you keep that your nonchalant, off the shoulder review right now is some BS. Okay, I was in your home. When you bashed that thing to the ground in front of your wife and kids and my wife. It was quite displeasing. If you ask me, your language. Okay,
so
keep the same energy.
What's the energy that you get from this, where you just want to punch it in the face?
I honestly I don't know, and I don't remember me bashing the screenplay a whole lot.
He's lying.
I think there's elements that can be cool. No, I'm not. Remind me of what I said, and I'm sure I can try to figure. But
Matt, give us this breakdown. 30 seconds or less.
You didn't say well, it gets a little sticky with the time travel and stuff. No, you said this is the dumbest thing in the world. There's rules already set in place. Why would they go back in time? I don't. You do this whole thing with the show. You look at it. I don't like it, but like I don't know. Yeah, so I don't want you telling it gets a little sticky when you get into time traveling. And no, you said you hated it because of the time traveling. You said that.
Yeah, it messes a lot of things up. I think they could have. It's hard. The time travel, what they're trying to accomplish, it has to be done through time travel, but it's
again, I don't remember the
bold.
exact details. I do know they go to like pretty much every Harry Potter like event, like the big events. So I can understand where it comes into play where it messes everything up. I gotta read that screenplay out of a book. I don't remember everything about it. I think it was pretty dope. What's it called? The grave scene, the grave when they go to
graveyard.
The graveyard when they go to I don't want to spoil it either, but whatever. When they go back for Voldemort, you know what I mean? They're waiting for him to walk through. I thought that scene was dope. You know what I mean? I was on edge. You know what I mean? I think they can do a great job with it if they get the original cast back together and like everybody's in, and they actually put the money into it. Yes, but I don't want it to be this thing where they're like, we're gonna wrap up the whole story finally, and you know what I mean?
Wrapped up though. That's the hard part. Is it feels like
exactly.
It's wrapped up.
I feel like it's wrapped up.
That's where the time travel gets all messed up.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like you could just end it. Don't do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think for me with this, not being the big Harry Potter fan, just being a fan of like fantasy movies, I think they're doing a good job catering to their audience with Fantastic Beasts. What I mean by that is that we're not children. We don't need to see child things happening anymore. We are grown adults who want to see grown adults thing. If you want to do more content, do it based on the first Wizarding War, not post the second one. Let me see a Marauders film where they're growing up in high school together.
Marauders TV show.
Dude,
either way, let me see that where they're grown and they're more, well, they're a little bit more older and like we have a backstory to these people. Let me see what leads to the first Wizarding War. Hell, give me a Voldemort origin story because it's going to be a dark film, but cater to the older audience who already is into your IP. Don't try and get the new guys and piss off the rest of your audience.
Yeah.
And there's still so much world building that they could do with a Marauder show. They could show like why the Whomping Willow is placed there. They could show like this is specifically for Lupin to have a place to where he can go transform as a student. You have a perfect love triangle between Snape, between Lily, and between James.
100%.
You have if you could cast somebody as a young Snape who people would rally behind, they would know the overall story that this man has unconditional love for this person and eventually will give his life to protect this person, even though she doesn't end up with him. Like, man, like there's so much they could do with that. Not to mention there's a huge falling out between Lily and Snape that could just be like heartbreaking to where he calls her a mudblood and like there's so much.
They need to unpack that and cater to the audience. And then if they even want to go with like not touching those characters specifically, they can go way back in time to the establishment of Hogwarts in the first place and showcase those differences between all the different houses, why they factionated. There's just a lot there that they're just not touching on because they decided to like not touch it. And I think the Fantastic Beasts, for what they are good movies, in my opinion.
I agree.
I'm not that hard Harry Potter fan who cares about the lore per se, but I think they're good for the age that I'm at now. I think that the continuity will fix itself when it's all said and done because it's not done yet. And what we're seeing caters more to the audience that is old enough to see these things now in the Harry Potter world, rather than establishing a cursed child film where it follows two children around again who do childish things in a two children guided by an adult.
We've highlight real events that are happening.
Yeah, we've seen it before.
So the only thing that I could say that, again, the reason I said this movie it would be bold is because you have an opportunity to pull off like a Back to the Future style where you're seeing some really high moments out of the Harry Potter series in a different perspective.
Yeah.
And if they could pull that off, it would be cool to see. But it's bold. Like
They'd mess it up, dude.
Yeah,
Like, you know what they would do? They would pull something like this. They'd pull something like Harry's son, while he's trying back in time, is the one who saves Harry from Voldemort. That's something that I could see them trying to do.
I mean,
they do something like that.
Kind of what happens.
My point, like don't do that. Let's not do that. Like, it ruins Harry Potter's speciality.
So I think I agree with that. For first off, my first point, I hate the last Fantastic Beasts movie, the Dumbledore one. I thought that was a terrible movie. After watching it, I was like, did I miss something? Rewatched it, terrible. Crimes of Grindelwald, so. First one, classic, amazing. 100%. You couldn't change anything. The fact that they were talking crap about Hogwarts and the school in America, I thought that was, I was so stoked. Harry Potter though, like with Matthew being didn't watch Harry Potter, didn't read any of the books growing up. Him growing up and then rewatching them, his love wasn't there because he didn't. He got to get all of it. You know what I mean?
But like on the flip side of that, I do love Fantastic Beasts with a passion. Andrew knows that.
Yeah,
love it. But
so like with Mandalorian coming out and like it's waiting a week, we get to stew in that episode. We get to think. We're like, hey, what was this and that? But when you're waiting 2 years for the next movie and you're rewatching it and you're falling in love with it, I think younger kids nowadays don't have that. Oh, I'm just gonna wait. They get their content. You know what I mean? Where I think if they did this movie, they potentially could. I don't want to say rebirth because I don't think Harry Potter's dead, but I think they could get a different crowd of people. Because then I'm gonna want to take my son to go watch Harry Potter and the Cursed Child or whatever. But then I'm gonna go rewatch all the Harry Potters with my kids so they know what's going on, and then like that fandom gets a breath of fresh air. And then if it does hit, we'll just say it hits, right? They kill it. They do a great job. If that potentially could lead to Hogwarts, nothing would do with Harry Potter, like the Potter family, but just a Hogwarts maybe movie or TV show, kind of like what they did with Legacy, how it's nothing to do with Harry Potter. Headmaster, or it has something to do, they can make some other kind of story in the Harry Potter world. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? That would be a good way for them to do a new thing. I'm cool. Let the Skywalkers die. Let the Potters, they're done, but just keep the wizarding world going. Somebody got Huffle or Slytherin. But I do agree 100% with you, Matt. I think they should really get into like a pre-Hogwarts and be like how everything got started. About a couple years back, I read a fan story on, I can't remember what the school's name that's made in America that what's his face goes to.
Evermore.
I can't remember what it's called.
That one.
That sure. Google it. That story, a fan wrote a story on how that school got started. It's only like 6 or 7 chapters. It was so good that they kind of made it canon. They were like, yeah, that we'll go with that. Like Rowling was like, yeah, that's the one. And I was so intrigued with the 6-chapter story that I was like, dude, they should have made this into a movie. You know what I mean? Like that would have been fire. But that's where I'm kind of ending my Harry Potter rant.
Evermore.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I think all three of us, despite not having the same love, me specifically for Harry Potter, share the same vision what we want it to be. So I think they should just do it, to be honest with you. But moving on, because we have to keep it pushing. Again, another topic we can talk about hours for what they should do, what they shouldn't do. So let's start with our next segment altogether. News is out of the way. That's the bulk of our podcast. Let's get to our
Yeah.
expert topic of the week.
Mhm.
We are slightly unqualified, but every week we pick one person who is qualified to talk about something. This week is none other than Andrew. Unfortunately, he's the qualified expert of the week. But Andrew, what do you got for us? Talk to us. What do we got?
One of those rare times that I'm actually qualified on something.
Yeah.
I know, right?
So we're going to be talking a little bit of Rocket League because we had the last North American regional before we get to an international LAN. And it was pretty spicy. There was a lot of good storylines that were drawn. So the way that works is it's a circuit-based system. Each team is trying to accumulate as many points as possible. The top 5 teams end up going to the international LAN. And so going into this tournament, there was one team that was solidified that they were going. And so it was a 16-team tournament, and only one of them knew that they for sure were already clinched going to this LAN Diego, as they call it.
San Diego.
And some really interesting things happened. So each split, there's a different format. So this format, this split it starts out in a group-based circuit where it's a round robin. So every team plays each other. If you win 3 matches and don't lose any, you're guaranteed a top 4 placement. If you lose 3, you're out. And then if you're 2-1, 1-2, sometimes there's tiebreakers to determine whether you're going to move on to the actual bracket form.
Mm.
So in Group A, you had the number 1 seed team, Gen G Mobile Racing, which is actually the last international winning team. They have won 1 regional. They lost the last regional coming into this one. So they're the number 1 seed. You have Shopify Rebellion. It's kind of like a 12 to 16 ranked team. Dignitas, which is in kind of the 8 to 12 range. And Koi, which is another top 16 team. You have Optic Gaming, which has consistently been in the 16 range, kind of towards the bottom.
Best in the league.
You have FaZe Clan, which is up there at the debatably 1 or 2, depending on who you talk to. M80, which is kind of an up-and-coming team that there wasn't a whole lot of high expectations for. The Pittsburgh Knights were there. G2, Space Station, Ghost, all pretty high-tier teams. Then you have a couple of international teams that came from different parts of the world to come play in North America. So you have the Furia team coming from South America. Complexity also moved from South America. Version 1, NRG, and Team Axel. So they all duked it out, and you had some surprising winners of the groups. So no surprise, Gen G won their group 3-0. Just came in, got business done, automatically qualified to the Saturday playoff.
Mm-hmm.
You had G2, which they tied with Space Station Gaming, going 2 games up, losing 1, but had a better game differential. So they won their group, automatic top 4. Complexity, which hasn't had good results in the last 2 splits, ended up clean sweeping their group 3-0. And then you have the Optic Gaming, which for them, this was huge. They played FaZe, which again is arguably one of the best teams in the world, and ended up beating them. Went 3-0 in their group, which was awesome. Just to put it into perspective, they had such little points to where the only way that they could make it to the major at the 5th spot would be to win everything. So they automatically make top 4 from just winning that group. So that's huge. And it's the first time this whole season that they've made it past Friday.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So, talk about pressure. G2 Esports, we already went over that. They won their group, and then Complexity. So then you get into the Saturday games. You have FaZe Clan versus NRG, and it's no surprise. NRG just flops. Yep. We can briefly talk about them. I know at least you know enough about this, Matt. It's time for them to make a team change.
No. Listen. Not just a team change. Blow it up. Either get rid of all 3 or get rid of 2 of them. This isn't a one-man change here. This is get rid of the entire team. Or keep your poster boy, Justin, because he is a poster boy. He's the franchise. And get 2 other guys. This isn't a replace one guy situation anymore.
Yeah, honestly, I hope that this solidifies them making a team change. They're all really good friends. That's the hard part is they all really like each other. So it's not like a nasty breakup situation. It's, these are best friends. And if you think of how long the duo of Garrett G and Justin have been together,
a long time,
that I'm pretty sure they're the longest team, longest duo in Rocket League right now. But yeah, they need to make something. Something needs to change.
Blow it up. Not just make a change. Blow it up.
Yep. So Space Station goes against Dignitas, and Space Station gets knocked out by Dignitas, which means they don't qualify for the region, or excuse me, the LAN. This is the first time since they acquired their prodigy Daniel that they're not going to be at an international LAN. It's pretty shocking. They lose in game 5. So crazy. Like, could have gone, but missed it out the last opportunity. Shopify Rebellion beats Ghost. A little bit of an upset there.
Real quick, are they sponsored by Shopify?
Mm-hmm.
Or like Shopify have their own esports org?
Yeah, so it's called Shopify Rebellion.
That's the org?
Yeah, but it's sponsored by Rebellion and then Shopify.
Rebellion's the org.
Mm-hmm.
Shopify sponsors the Rocket League team or the entire organization?
It's a good question. I don't know if they do the whole organization.
It's like when they did General NRG that one time?
Yeah.
General only sponsored NRG. They didn't sponsor all of
it.
Yeah.
It's probably similar because that's the only other, with the exception of Gen G now, that's got Mobile One Racing. Version 1 beats M80, knocks them out of the contention for going to the LAN. Then going into the quarterfinals, you had the last grand finals, Gen G versus FaZe. And this was the first time Gen G looked bad. Like, they lost 4-1. And they lost to FaZe in the last grand finals. So the hot take right now is that FaZe has them.
Yeah, could play.
Mm-hmm. But we'll see how it goes when they're on LAN, because that Gen G team is just dominant on LAN. It's awesome. Complexity ends up beating Dignitas, which puts them in a weird spot in points. They were currently the 5th seed, so they lose the ability to gain points. But depending on how Optic does, if Optic makes it and goes all the way to win, they would knock Dignitas off. So Dignitas has a day of watching, praying that Optic gets knocked out by another team. G2 versus version 1. G2 ends up beating them 4-3, which brings us to the Sunday games, which is FaZe versus Complexity, Optic Gaming versus G2. And FaZe comes in and claps Complexity, but confirms that Complexity is going to be the number 4 seed. Optic Gaming gets dominated. It was an embarrassment. It was an embarrassment of a game. They had some good starts, but their whole team just broke down against the G2 offense, which means that Dignitas solidified that 5th place. So you have your top 5 teams. And FaZe, because they won the whole thing, stole the number 1 spot from Gen G. You have Gen G at number 2, G2 at number 3, Complexity at number 4, and Dignitas at number 5.
Damn.
So it was crazy. Heartbreak for Optic. I was rooting for him because that would have been a cool comeback to win the whole thing and then secure your.
Yeah, I watched a few matches. One of them I texted you about. Both teams just like were not trying to win. I watched the Optic game, I think on Saturday when they lost. Broke my heart. But I honestly, I don't follow Rocket League Optic as much as I follow Optic as a whole. That's the one like kind of ugly stepsister part of the organization that I'm not really like too proud of or talk about. Hardly ever, because the other 2 teams just win so much. But Optic also on the Call of Duty front is in a dangerous spot this weekend. They lost today and they have to go on an incredible losers bracket run to even have a chance at their own majors. So I'll be stressing this whole weekend. But sounded fun. Sounded like a good thing. Rocket League. Steve, if you haven't watched any matches, just watch like one or two, and you'll be hooked, dude. Like even if you don't
Yeah.
know like how the skill gap is so like gappy, it's just
Mhm.
fun to watch Rocket League because of what it is.
Remember we
Yeah.
were watching some of the matches on Sunday that
Mhm.
that comeback. What was it like? They were down 0-2, and then
Mhm.
the last possible second they scored.
Yeah,
and
so
then,
G2, they
Yeah,
did two
that was
0-second
crazy.
goals back to back.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah, it
losing
was
my
crazy.
mind over it, but
yeah, me and Matt were going nuts on
Yeah.
that. It was
Shout out.
pretty cool.
I love that game because it's so simple and anyone can pick it up, and just you either pick the blue team or the orange team. Who do you want to win? And then you just
Yeah.
never know. You can be down literally one goal, and the game's not over until the ball touches the ground. And
Yeah.
these guys know how to keep it up for long periods of
time.
time.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask Matt. I was like, dude, the time it said 6 seconds. It's been
Mhm.
like almost 40. I didn't
I got
know
balls
that.
in the air, man.
I
As
didn't
long
know
as the
that.
ball's in the air, it's still in play.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. I actually think that's pretty cool. They should definitely keep that
Mhm.
going. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, sounds fun. Sounds like it was a great weekend for Rocket League. I was busy watching Call of Duty pool play, which was actually damn good this weekend.
Yeah, it was a really good set of matches.
Yeah, for pool, it was the last qualifier for this major, so they kind of had to go all out. And then this major started today, so I'm watching that this weekend. But yeah, so that's wrapping up our topic of the week. Andrew, pleasure as always. To talk
Thanks
about
for
Rocket League.
listening to my
Thanks.
monologue.
Hey,
There
it's
you go.
cool with me. Cool with me, especially
Yeah, man.
because I know the winter one because of what in a month in April. So now I know what to look
April
out for at least in a
7th,
month.
yep.
Yeah. So excited for that open or not? It's not even open. It's a major invitational. I'm excited to see how it goes. Now that I know a little bit more insight, who to watch out for. Go Optic.
They're not going to be
Right.
there.
Yeah, probably not. All right, we're gonna
No,
move into
they
our
are.
game of the week, our game master of the week. Maybe not master. Our game jester of the week is Mr. Steven here. Steven, explain your game. I have a question about it, and then
Cool.
we'll get into
Let me
it.
explain it first. No hand claps. All right. So this week is going to be a draft. We are going to be drafting our Disney Death Match team. How this is going to run is we are going to be in a Coliseum. My team versus Matthew's team versus Andrew's team. Last team standing wins. There is a little bit since we are doing Disney and we are doing a death match. We are going to be eliminating all Star Wars, all Marvel characters. It's just going to be Disney, Pixar. Matt, what was it called? I'm not 100%.
The Walt Disney Animation Studios umbrella. So
Okay.
anything Walt Disney Animation Studio or anything Walt Disney Studios, anything Pixar Studios, MCU, and Lucasfilms are not included in those two studios. So
okay. So if there is a pick that you're like, hey, I think this is a little weird, maybe it's a loophole. Come on, we're all adults here. We're having some fun. So how this is going to go is Matthew is going to go first. Then we have Andrew, then me, and we're going to be doing a snake draft. So it's going to be going back. The only other thing I forgot to tell you is if you, for some reason, decided to draft Ariel and she needs water, in the Coliseum, there will be some water. You know what I'm saying? You're not just like, she's a fish out of water. You know what I mean?
nobody draft an Ariel for the record.
Yeah, if you draft an Ariel, you know what I mean?
That was my number one pick.
Yeah, I bet it was. Okay.
Straight loss for you.
So what was your question, Matt?
Do the characters we pick, they're all encompassing powers and abilities that we see in the films, yes?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
If the character, like Mulan, if you decide to draft her, and she has a sword that she carries because that's her sword, she gets that sword. She doesn't get like a ride. She doesn't get. You can't get one person, and it comes with a squad of people. You know what I mean?
Can you be specific on like?
No,
I'm trying to think. Okay.
No. No. All right.
Well,
so
shoot.
It would be 30 seconds on the clock. We shouldn't need 30 seconds for each pick, but say your pick. Give us your reason. Make it short and sweet. All right, let's send it.
All right, y'all. My number one overall pick of the draft, the heavy hitter, the big kahuna tuna. What can I say but you're welcome? Give me Maui. Number one overall.
Maui, okay.
That's a pretty good one.
That is a very, very strong solid
I'm
pick.
glad you picked Maui because
Yes.
I'm going with a very similar character, as in the all-powerful genie.
That's
from
not
the left.
Oh, Genie.
I was hoping that would slip by. but it didn't.
Genie. That's pretty good. Why'd you pick Genie though? Why Genie?
He's just a jack of all trades.
Yeah,
if we need something, he's
That's
able
true,
to.
man. Yeah, you got it.
Mhm.
Well, I feel like there was a one of one. There was the number one draft pick, and I am very excited that it went by both of you guys. I feel like this person doesn't make us playoff contenders. They did give us the ring. I got the Patrick Mahomes of the Disney Death Match draft, and that's my girl Elsa. She's coming in strong,
mopped.
freezing. She's like Maui with no t-shirt, frozen nipples. Genie, frozen little container thing. You know what I mean? It's freeze. So that's where I'm going. Number one, my Patrick Mahomes, my quarterback, my game changer, Elsa. I've never been so excited to say Elsa's name.
You already lost, I think. Continue.
I agree. It's a good thing you're getting a second pick. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, good thing you're back to back because
second pick I'm going with is another twisted sister. I'm going with Maleficent. She is a witch.
That's better than Elsa.
And a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And just let you guys know that Elsa is technically in the Disney list of strongest characters. She's number one. Just giving you guys heads up. Maleficent, because she can be a dragon. She has magical powers, and she's Maleficent. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So Elsa, Maleficent. I feel like I already have the game match one. You know what I'm saying?
No, there's plenty of characters. All right. So I have my jack of all trades. I need some raw power.
Ooh, okay.
Which would be none other than Mr. Incredible himself.
Ooh, well played, my man. That's a good pick. Very good pick.
Mr. Incredible.
That's your brute strength right there.
That is my strength.
It's a good pick.
That's it. That was your brute strength. There's plenty of people you could have gone with him.
You went with Maui.
I mean, you got some brute strength, but
well, listen, I can go one of two ways. I can go brute strength again and out brute strength your brute strength that you just had, or I can go a little bit more power heavy, a little bit more little something. I'm gonna go power heavy. I'm gonna go right to the genie route the same way you did. I'm taking Merlin. Thank you very much. Got my power. Got my heavy hitter. He's gonna be Maui. Maui's gonna mop him, and then Merlin's just gonna be like, "Yo, Elsa, powers are gone." Yeah, no problem.
Merlin, dang it, that's a good one.
That is a good pick.
If you get Elsa like really angry, maybe you should do something. But, like otherwise, she's like just kind of chilling, not wanting to use her powers. So
yeah, she's gonna be too busy singing though.
Yeah,
hey.
Just
the voice of an angel.
So I'm going back to brute strength again. Ooh. The unbeatable, the mighty, the trained by the best trainer of all time.
Oh, I know where you're going with this. This is supposed to be my pick.
The one who sent Hades back to where he belongs. The one who made Olympus proud.
I thought I was gonna get this.
Hercules, baby. I don't even gotta explain anything. Hercules. That's enough said.
Mm-hmm.
Hercules is good. Maui, Hercules. That's a strong team. Very strong team. All right, Andrew. What you got?
Let's see. All right, I'm going to throw this one out there because I want some intelligence. I want someone that is adaptable and that has a history of finding weaknesses and exploiting them. Going back to the Incredibles with Syndrome.
Oh, my God. The man who got beat by his own tech. That's who you're going with?
Some pretty good tech. Some pretty good tech.
A cape?
Yeah.
The man has a history of hunting.
You're better off with Jack than you are with Syndrome.
No.
Yeah, I would have took Jack and just
or Nash.
No, I'm thinking about the technology.
Oh. Yeah. That's a terrible pick. I'm just letting you know.
It ain't no Elsa.
Ain't no Elsa.
Hey, Elsa would be like, oh, Fareeze. All right. I need to go with some brute strength. I need somebody who can, you know what I'm saying? Like, you grab Hercules by his little ponytail looking thing and just be like, yeah, get out of here. And then grab Mr. Incredible and just, you know what I'm saying? And my man, I went with Sully from Monsters, Inc. I'm going with the big monster. He's going in there
furry cat. Good choice.
There you go. He's handing some ass. You know what I'm saying? He's doing what he needs to do. So I got brute strength there. I got my wizard. I got my witch. Or I got my frozen chick.
When I say wizard,
I need. Well, Maleficent's kind of both, but not a wizard. You know what I mean? I think I'm gonna have to go. I need to go with some. So we go with some speed, or should we go with some fighting a bit? You know what? We're gonna go with somebody who cannot die. I am gonna go with my man, Jack Skellington. I'm going with Jack Skellington. He's super skinny, tiny, moves like a spider, can rip his own head off. He's getting in and out. I'm taking Jack Skellington.
So clearly, this is a competition between me and Matt.
It seems so.
Fire!
Seems so. What is happening right now? This is his game.
I'm going with Jack Skellington.
He came with also Jack Skellington.
Yeah.
He can't be killed. I can't lose. I win.
So every draft that I've had, I've tried to come in from different angles. So with this pick, I need someone that can command, someone that can get a whole bunch of minions following underneath him, someone that can get an army behind him, and who better than the king of the seas, King Triton.
That's a good one. It's a good one. I guess a little bucket of water will help you out very much.
Yeah.
All hail King Triton. That's the best part of that entire movie.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. I mean, the guy that Ursula defeated pretty handily. That's who you're going with.
Yeah.
There ain't no Ursula around this time. No Ariel to muck it up.
Fair enough. Well, it's back to me, and I'm gonna go with again just pure power. Not even brute strength, just pure power overall. A not well-known character to us lonely young people, us being younger than Andrew and below, to us people that have lost the appreciation for the art of what Disney's brought to us. The man that Walt Disney himself is called the devil. I'm going with Chernabog from Fantasia.
Oh, nice. That's a good pick.
That's a good pick. That's a very good pick. Very good pick.
Freaking devil. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is literally a solid
And once again, enough said. Andrew, you're on the clock. Oh, wait, is it my pick?
Yeah,
Oh,
you got
me?
two
Yeah, no.
picks.
Yeah, you get to get your last pick. It's your last pick.
This is my last pick. Okay. I need someone kind of spry, someone kind of quick. And my team is so powerful. I just need like someone to be funny and just crack jokes the whole time. I'm going to give you guys a layup here because I'm already going to win with just these four alone. All right. Give me Mushu. I'll take Mushu.
That's a pretty good one.
He can definitely give it. Jack Skellington a run for his money. I tell you that much.
No,
Give Jack Skellington a run for his money.
He's
You give Mushu a gong and a wand, he's going to kill Jack Skellington. I promise you that.
He's going to be frozen because Elsa's going to be freezing that ass.
Who do I need? Someone powerful. God.
I got them all.
Got one powerful person. Merlin's the only thing.
Chernabog whooping everybody on anybody's team right now.
That's pretty good.
Negative freezing that shit. Negative freeze. You're done, Steve.
I'm just in shock that your number one draft pick was Elsa when your number two was better than your number one.
Clearly better. You flip those two rounds.
You guys are crazy.
You might have a decent draft if you flip them two around, but
she's freezing everybody. I don't understand how you guys. If you're frozen, you cannot move. The wizard is the only person you have to be worried about.
You realize listen, hold on. You realize there's ordinary men in these films that she's fought, not even super power entities. Normal men have gotten past her trying to shoot them to freeze him. Normal men. So much so that she missed and shot her own sister in the heart. What are you talking about?
But you also know she froze a whole town.
She didn't mean to do it.
She didn't even mean to.
She did it. Now imagine if
she wanted to.
Imagine if she wanted to. And then with Maleficent right next to her, a fire-breathing dragon, it's over. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Hercules can run as fast as he can and be as strong as he can, but if he's frozen in ice,
she's gonna miss. She's gonna miss. That's the point.
She just literally has to freeze everything.
Normal men ran by her, not very quickly, just kind of like move out of the way, and she shot her own sister as a result. It's not hard to dodge, and we've had two films of this where she has missed shots multiple times, and someone else has had to save her.
I would have to.
You're done bickering. Let me finally pick my last one.
Yeah, who's your
Fair
last
enough. Go
one?
ahead.
My last one is the God King himself, Zeus.
I said Hercules. I don't know why I think of Zeus.
That was good.
Zeus.
It's a good one.
Zeus.
It's a good one. Sure about Mops of Thor with him, but go ahead.
Zeus.
Yeah, that dude's huge, man. I was looking up how tall that guy is. That guy's
Turnabout?
massive.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that's
an S
a
tier
sleeper.
pick. Right?
It's a sleeper right there.
S-
And in the 4th round, come on. Come on.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Dang,
I was
gotta get
surprised.
someone-
Yeah, I was surprised that King Triton was up there for so long.
That's a good point. I didn't think of King Triton or
It's
Zeus.
a good pick.
Zeus is an obvious
Zeus
one. I
is
don't
a
know
good
why.
one. Zeus,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I was definitely like trying. Here, I'll let you pick your last one. I'll explain.
Yeah, let me grab my last one.
idea.
Kind of
that's
stuck
right.
between two.
Using that
but
Google
I don't-
search, I did mine from memory.
I did mine from memory too. Turnabout when I first was told about it, Turnabout
Well,
was the first person I thought of. I just didn't want to. I
see,
knew he wasn't.
I wanted-
so
I wanted Genie to be my technically my
Genie's
third
a good
pick.
one. Yeah.
I wanted Genie to be my third, but I was like, people will sleep on Genie, and then it came out. I didn't get Genie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need a fighter. I need someone who's like good with the sword. I don't want to pick. I
Blonde?
do.
I'm surprised you're not
do want-
picking Dash from Zootopia.
What's the weasel's
Oh.
name? Little Weasel? That one that gets away from Judy Hopps?
I'm trying to
Oh, the little
remember.
rat looking thing.
Yeah,
Or the Godfather?
the
from-
Godfather one.
Hey, don't be knocking on my pick.
Oh man,
My team's solid.
Zootopia.
I want to go. I
Definitely
wanted to
underrated.
go with.
Good movie.
But see,
Second one coming out soon, by the way.
I wanted to go with Baymax, but I also want to go with the Beast from Beauty and the Beast. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Beast. I think Beast. I need a fighter. I need someone who can move around like an animal. I'm gonna go Beast
Someone
as
who
wrapping up
loses
my
to a
team.
pack of wolves. Yep, good choice.
I'm gonna go Beast.
One bite to the heel.
Yeah, I'm going Beast.
3 years to take. You can have him.
Yes.
Yeah.
One bite to the heel, one brunette, and he's done.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good looking brunette. You know what I'm saying? Many people have fallen. Mushu is immortal.
So I think it's clear that me and Andrew are in the race for this win here.
Negative. I think you guys
It's like
trash.
It's just the Jack Skellington one. Honestly,
He's on the list of the strongest
the Frozen ones
Disney
I can
characters
see.
as number
Is this
8.
like-
The
did you
Frozen
look up
one.
like
What
the
list?
strongest new characters?
What the list you
Type
made?
in-
Who made this list?
No, if type in strongest Disney characters, and on every list, Elsa is number 1.
That's not
Unless you go to-
the one I saw. Elsa is 10 right now. What are you talking about?
Sully
On
was
CBR,
picked.
which is like the #1 comic book resource / pop culture thing in the world.
Then that must be the only one because these 3 here.
So can we talk that Steven picked both Sully and Beast, which are like basically the same character?
person. Yeah.
Yeah, I got 2.
You put a brunette
Muscle and
woman in
fighter.
front of them. They're both done.
Mm-hmm.
Probably for the same brunette.
Probably. But hey, I got 2 fighters. I got a wizard. I got a dude who can't fucking die.
I also have a
And
dude who can't die.
Okay, then we're still
I
in it.
also do.
Mushu can't
Hercules.
die.
I have a
Hercules.
couple people that can't die.
You have the
Who's
genie.
that?
Genie and Zeus.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Zeus. Then.
Like,
Zeus
Zeus-
if that's the standard, then any character almost in all of Disney films is immortal.
What are you talking
True.
about? Zeus is the God King.
got killed
No,
by
we need to
Thor,
see.
though,
We need to
but-
see like this is Disney Zeus. That's what you're understanding. Disney Zeus let his son almost die a few times. Disney
Yeah, 'cause
Zeus
he didn't want to
couldn't
pay
stop
child support.
Hades. He had to let his son stop Hades. And Disney Zeus was probably the worst father you ever seen in your life. He wasn't good at anything, really. He was good at talking, that's for sure. But that's it.
Yeah, I know. Brenda MC 1012. They're haters. I don't know what they're. You know what I mean? They don't know.
Sully's a good
Sully-
character,
listen.
but he's getting schmung dangled in the arena.
Sully and Beast and Jack Skellington are A-tier characters.
No,
They're getting
and Elsa.
slaughtered.
Elsa's
Slaughtered.
getting-
Not even. No,
Slaughtered
wait.
in the
Elsa
arena.
is Elsa and Maleficent are my heavy hitters.
Elsa
They're
isn't
doing-
even the most popular person in her own film. And what
Yeah,
film
man,
did she save the day? Not a
Doesn't
single one.
She
doesn't
froze
Maleficent
a
get
whole
killed by
town.
one man?
She
An
froze
accident.
a whole
An accident.
town.
She couldn't do it again if she wanted to. You want to know how we
She-
know?
The
I can
thing
tell you
is
how
that
we
she-
know.
Oh my gosh, you're crazy. You're crazy. She in
Because
the
in the
second one,
film,
she pulls
she can't even cross a river. She can't even
In the
cross a
second film,
river in the second film.
At the end of the second movie, she pulls a horse out of the ocean and rides it across the ocean. She freezes the ocean and rides a horse
Doesn't
across
freeze
it.
the ocean.
How is she riding across the ocean in a frozen horse if she's
The horse is not frozen.
How is she riding a horse then?
It's a water horse, and the horse is not something she created. It was an element within the water. Who was
that
on
she
her
has
side.
Control of.
No, who was on her side. The same way the elements of the wind were on her side as
you're
well.
Crazy.
Because she's the crux to all the elements. If you want to make that argument, go ahead. That's fine.
No, I'm just saying.
Get your facts straight, at least. The horse wasn't frozen, and she didn't control it. It did what it wanted to do when it wanted to do it. Because it made her drown for like 5 minutes straight. And then she's like, please help. Then it finally did.
I have to disagree on that one.
It's in the movie. It's not an opinion. It's in the movie. That's what happens.
I'm going to say that Elsa still technically is the strongest. How it's listed, I
mean, you got to be looking at like the cutest character strong list. Like,
oh my god, you guys are dumb.
It's probably made by someone's daughter, which is why they think Elsa's the strongest person of all time. Every daughter loves Elsa. Hell, every son loves Elsa at this point. Elsa's just the most current big thing, so of course she's gonna get all the love.
Every the real Steven list loves Elsa.
The real list, and for being real here, would have Genie number 1, and then Chernobog number 2.
Who beats him?
Chernobog?
Yeah,
he doesn't really die. Same way Genie doesn't die.
Yeah, he's freaking just
goes away.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm done wreaking havoc. Spirits come with me.
What happens? Yeah.
This isn't. Screen Rant has Goofy as number 1,
and then third, Maleficent probably as well. Third.
Where's Goofy? Goofy's got
it. It says Goofy is number 1.
Hey, he can't die.
Why are you looking at somebody else's list?
No, Screen Rant. Screen Rant's like freaking everywhere. I wanted to see what they had to say about it, and it has Goofy as number 1. That's kind of weird.
That list
Ursula is number 3, and then it has
Rafiki. You have Rafiki on there.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Ursula is not a bad pick, but still.
Oh no, Steven, your list is backwards. It's going from 10 to 1, not from.
Oh, okay, that's why. Maybe what's number 1?
Wait, so Elsa's 10.
Figment number 1. Are you kidding me?
Wait, yeah. This is Genie is number 2. Then
I'm trying to find the number. I see Elsa at 5 on this list. The first 3 lists I see on this link has Elsa not at number 1.
If you go to Google and you type in the most powerful Disney character,
I'm on it. That's what I'm doing. The first 3 articles have her at number 5 or below, or not on it at all. And then the 4th article, written by JosephRyderAnderson.com/blog, he has her at number 1.
Well, and, clearly he's an expert.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go with that guy's story.
Hold on. Let's piggyback off this. Elsa is number 1 on the list. His next article right after that is, why is Iceland cool all of a sudden?
That's just in the ice.
Why? Maybe he's a climate control person. You know what I mean? Climate. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just still think I freeze everybody. Everybody's frozen, and then I just kill them.
Sorry, Steven. I think your team gets outed. With
the quickness.
The quick 4-0 sweep.
I think the crazy part is the first round. Okay, Elsa's a second round character. Cool, you got her in the first. Maleficent was a good bounce back, and then you went Jack Skellington.
No, I didn't go Jack Skellington. I went Sully. Then I went Jack Skellington.
That's still just as bad.
You're crazy.
So, I think if we're gonna fight 10 times,
I'm so hard.
11 out of 10 times your team's gonna lose.
Let's post it and let's see what people think then. Let's see if you guys are full of your team.
And just put team A, B, and C. Don't put our names.
Sure. And we'll see what people think. And see who if you guys are thinking your team's better than mine and the internet thinks my team's better than yours, but we'll see. We'll take
internet.
Joseph Ryder. Jack Skellington, Sully and Beast and say, nah, that's not it.
Joseph Ryder Anderson, that's for sure.
That man's gonna be spamming. This is the one. Elsa.
Just throwing in bots.
All right, let's wrap it up here. This is an easy dub for either me or Andrew.
Trash.
Don't know who. Yeah,
Hold
it's
on,
been a
wait,
good
wait. Before
episode.
we wrap it
Oh,
up,
go ahead.
all I want to say is I know next week is my game, and I think I have a game that's going to rival your last week game, Matt.
Yeah, that's
I'm
it.
gonna let
let's
you
see.
stew on that for a week
Yeah, well,
because this
let's
one
see.
I tested it out and it was fun.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
It just my game was just perfect at the right time.
It was good.
Much thought and
Yeah, it was.
research. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
but good game this week as well. I mean, we haven't
Mhm.
had a bad
Great
game,
game.
that's for sure. This was actually
this was a lot
way
of fun.
this is way more entertaining than I thought it was because of Jack
Yeah.
Skellington and also
Fuck
specifically.
no. Jack Skellington's handing some ass.
But anyways,
Let's go.
this has been another episode of the Slightly Unqualified Podcast. We are your lovely, gracious talkers. I am your immensely great and better than Steve Harvey host. We're signing out. Peace out. See y'all later. Have a great rest of your day, night, evening, whatever it is where you're at now. Adios.
Sure.